Okay, is it on?
It's on.
There it is. 1, 2, 3. There it is. Okay. Oh wait, I ain't got my outfit on.
I would join you, but I don't have anything to hold it up.
It's like,
What?
My outfit on.
I don't have any tape, Johnny.
You need glasses.
There.
Mercy. How y'all doing out there? You ready for the RNC? This is
I can get them to wear masks, but they'll wear maxi pads.
I need.
Oh, mercy. How y'all doing out there?
It is Diddy Boots time.
Johnny, I sent you guys a link to a guy that was on Twitter that made a video after the unaliving attempt, and he was mimicking Donald Trump. Did you see it?
Mm-mm.
Oh my God. He's like, you can take my ear, but you can't take my freedom. He's like,
and we're gonna ask something in the vicinity of that. That was hot around it's 10,000 degrees in here, so
let me take this off because look, I got a clip.
I have the fastest growing ear ever.
No, he's like, huge. What you don't know is that I can grow it back like SpongeBob. I was like, what the hell? I was laughing.
You need one of them too.
He's like, you're a loser. You could have blown my brains off on screen, but you didn't. You're a loser.
Hear no evil, see no evil. It's like
you. I can grow back my ear. SpongeBob.
Which Keith Olbermann was trending because he is saying Donald Trump did not get shot. He was not hit by a bullet, which, I mean, can anybody say that? I mean,
you know who's raising questions? He's not coming out and saying it's a conspiracy, but if you listen to what he says, he's saying, tell me this is not a conspiracy versus without telling me this is a conspiracy.
Just explain it and send your report out. That's all.
Van Jones has had some words to say about the whole thing, and I was like, wow, okay.
Even the cats are petty tonight.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
So
announcements.
We got a little bit of questions tonight, of course. It's not like nothing was going on the past week. Jesus Christ. What would you do when Donald Trump's not in office, they said. Oh my God, right?
Let's change all the questions in about 2 minutes before the show.
But deep breaths, everybody. Okay. We'll start with announcements, and then I have a public service announcement. So
I have a little public service announcement too, because when in the first primary, I was a big Elizabeth Warren fan. I was a big Bernie Sanders fan, but I have to say, Biden has been the most successful president in my lifetime. And, getting things like the infrastructure bill, they have been trying to do since Eisenhower. No one's been able to do it. So I advise everybody to go to whitehouse.gov, and you can do the contact us, and you can send a very nice email and thank him for his service. So send him some love because I think
he got things done with a Republican House.
Yeah. As far as announcements, I just had one cancellation in October. So if somebody wants an October reading, there's one available October 19th, I believe. Otherwise, I have appointments open in November. And if you would like to come to my Healing Energy Seminar in Portland, Oregon at the end of September and 1st of October, you have into August to get registered for that. There are openings on both weekends, and if you would like to learn how to work with the astral body and healing with my method, it's another great tool to put in your tool belt. Do not sign up for the seminar because you want a personal healing session with Jen Lin. If you want that, schedule a reading. This seminar is to learn how to do healing energy work, and everyone can do it. There's a method behind it. Everyone can do it. There's some great pictures on my website on the seminar tab from the last events. So check those out.
Any announcements, Lenormand?
Yes, I have replied to all email requests for personal readings. I am doing 1 hour only and grand tableaus. Please note that I have a regular 9-to-5 job. I have a career. I am only available on the weekends, and I have to schedule you beforehand. I cannot drop everything I'm doing and tend to you. I have a life.
No emergency readings.
No emergency readings. So for those of you that have requested readings, I have emailed you back. I'm getting people scheduled right now, so check your emails.
Okay.
You have no announcements?
If you would like to meet Johnny in person, he will be at my seminar in the fall. It's the only way you'll ever get to meet him in person because he doesn't do seminars.
This is true.
He's the real life Care Bear, you guys. I'm just
he's a lot of fun. And he's getting used to getting hugged now, so he's desensitized.
But used to.
He's it's like desensitization training, or however you say it. Right.
So, and I thought that it was thunder and lightning. I'm like, we don't get thunder and lightning here, but I heard it. I really did.
Oh man, can I tell the story about last Sunday night after we were live? We were live. We go into the after show in the live stream, and all of a sudden the tornado sirens are going off. So I come in here and I tell Becca and Johnny, I got to take the cats to the basement. Tornadoes. Power goes out. Get the cats in the basement. Just crazy, like 80, 90 mile an hour winds, a lot of straight line winds and everything. And it was pretty scary sounding. Well, I saw a map later afterwards. We had a tornado that came right through our backyards here, coming from the tree lines that knocked big oak trees, 100-year-old oak trees down my neighbor's yards. Didn't hit any houses, but it must not have gone completely on the ground because it was like chopping the top of the trees out. So if it had continued on that trajectory, it would have hit my house. My house was the next in line on it. So yes, we had a tornado, and then at 3 a.m. we had an earthquake, 3.25 magnitude earthquake. And then the next night we had more tornadoes in the area. So I was taking the cats back to the basement, but I didn't get my power back on till like, I think it was 3:30, Johnny. We were texting and I said, I still don't have power. And I said, I've got to manifest that. And Johnny's like, you'll get it. And right as the text comes through, boom, the lights come on and scare the crap out of me. I was like, wow, that was fast manifesting. But yeah, luckily, didn't hit any houses near me. We had 5 tornadoes in the area. And then the next night we had a bunch because we had one about 9-10 miles away from me. So I've been through a little trauma this week.
I would say so. Yeah.
But my bubble of protection around me, and it worked.
So
I need to get me a Petty shirt because I'm the only one that doesn't have one. We got Petty Squad over here, Queen of Petty over there. I
got this one for Johnny that he's wearing. Point this way. I was going to get you one, but I was like trying to figure out the sizing because they tend to shrink a little bit after you wash them. So I bought one for myself last year, and then after I washed it, it shrank. So I bought myself a size up. I may have to get you one that's kind of oversized because it's going to shrink.
I like oversized clothes anyways. I don't like being all tight and fitted.
Yeah. All of our petty shirts, for those who ask, come from Amazon.
I'm going to make some tonight. Hopefully.
Yep. If you type it, we need a petty boots one. That's what we need.
That's what I'm going to try to make, but we're going to see how that works. So, as I said before, we had a bit of news, right? And here's the thing: we can squabble over the nominee for right now, but afterwards, you got one task, and you know what that task is. There's the end of the announcement. You can right now go back and forth, throw all the names you want to out there. You want Buttigieg, you want Gavin Newsom, you want Bernie Sanders, you want Jesus Christ. I don't care who you want. You squabble about it now, and then afterwards, you got one task. Do not act like, and I'm preaching to the choir because I know this, but still, don't act like we forgot what happened just a few years ago. It can happen again.
But worse.
If it does. We did it because he's not getting more votes. All he needs is for the other ticket to get less. That's all he needs. Because mind you, Hillary Clinton won the popular vote. So this country has voted for a female already. So we know it can happen. It just needs to happen in the right places. Because the Electoral College could screw up this whole thing like it did the last time. We already know Russia's got their influence because J.D. Vance is their man right now.
Al Gore got the popular vote.
You got one task. Mind you, Donald Trump is not the biggest threat. Right now, he's not president. And yet we're still dealing with a whole bunch of crap with the Supreme Court and Eileen Cannon and all these other different kind of people. Donald Trump is, yes, a gross festation, but he is not the root cause. There is a whole different thing. He just exists inside of it. So squabble now, vote blue later, whoever it is. I don't care if it's Daffy Duck, put him in there. Okay, that's my only announcement. So we're going to start with the Biden stuff to get it out of the way. And the first thing, mind you, this is not in any order because this was added at last minute. What I do want to know, though, let me see, is why did he drop out? Is it health? Because mind you, he's not in the greatest of health. And I think a lot of times when they give us his health reports, they do not tell us the whole truth.
First, my 5 of Pentacles fell out, and then the fighting card fell out. It's like, let's see, losing his donors. Right. You taking up too much room. My kitties are getting bigger. They take up more room now. It's all about the money and the fighting because they thought, all this sneaky stuff going on. They thought that he would lose against Trump, looking at it differently. He's got strength at his roots. I think he still could have beat him. And then once he got COVID, this is my COVID card. Once he got COVID, he's like, okay, maybe it's time to move on. And that's when everything kind of fell apart. But it's money. It's money. Makes the world go around.
I get the clouds, the scythe, the man. We asked about Joe Biden. He's right in the middle of it. The sun and the mountain. Something airborne that he contracted, an illness, sudden, that's dangerous to him. But he was not optimistic on the way forward. There's man, there's optimism. Nope. Not optimistic. This here, not feeling very certain he's going to hit roadblocks. These two right here, I don't get any money cards, but it's almost like there's almost like a level of extortion, some way, shape, or form, to cut him out of there. Or this success is going to be withheld. You see what I'm saying? So that's what I get.
Because I personally, without the reading, I personally don't have, not to be doom and gloom, but his health concerns me more than the donor class and him winning the election. He was going to win. His health, because that's what popped up in that read I did for his July, is same card too. Stop campaigning because you're going to catch something. I said cold, but there's that. But in this reading, this is the problem. The donor class, the wealthy, the Abigail Disneys and all that type of stuff. It's these people. He thought it would be best for the country. Mind you, this is my America card. There was plans to do this after the conversations that he had back and forth. And this is not Kamala Harris. And so this is all about money and resource and finance. So next question is, how does Harris feel about all of this right now?
Biden came out immediately and endorsed her. So did Hillary and Bill Clinton. Obama has not endorsed her yet. And she was one of the first people to endorse him.
Remember, down ticket is very important too, because if we're going to have the AOC impeach some Supreme Court justices, then she needs a little help, no matter who's in the White House. Impeach, not removal, but still, it still counts.
You know, I get she really loves him and loves his family. I get she was a little surprised that he gave up, because he was like, I'm in this for the long haul, and she feels like there was a manipulation trying to balance the power. But I get she was in agreement with him and loved and supported him, but he's isolated from the donors, from the people with money. But she like was with him and his family. I get they were probably meeting in secret and realizing that he was going to have to leave. It came about quite fast, and she's concerned about like the donors. Like, she's talking to them to see if they're going to be a problem for her. Like, are they going to lay low around her too? So she's concerned about whether or not she can get the donations or not. I get she truly cares for Biden and his family.
I get the garden, the fox, storks, clover, and dog. Simple read, she thinks the party was very manipulative, speaking out of both sides of their mouth. And now you see who is really not a friend and who really isn't loyal. Who's playing the game, who's playing politics with the fox and the clover. But she also sees that as the party has promoted her job. With the garden, the fox, and the stork's party, job promotion. You see what I'm saying? So she's very aware of what happened inside the party, the entire party, and the networks within that party. But she also sees that this was an opportunity for her to get a job promotion as well. But she knows, at least she has a clear understanding of who, I wouldn't say backstab, but who says one thing while doing something behind your back.
Yeah. Who you can trust and who you can't.
Yeah. Because if this is trust with the dog, be careful. So that's what I get.
You know, I was telling Jane and Becca, I did a reading offline, and because, you know, I just sitting there messing with the cards, and I asked who was going to be president out of, in my mind, I didn't say out of in the question, but in my mind, I'm thinking Biden or Trump. And Queen of Swords was the answer, and that's Harris. But I'm thinking still at that time that the reason she popped up was because they're Biden Harris. So hopefully, fingers crossed that those were right. But I get, how does she feel about this? She feels very secure. I don't think this is now, but she will. There's some huge, gigantic change that is a coming. It's both good and bad. And so whatever this change is, secures her, this is my America card again, so it secures her position. And so there will be a lot of talk, a lot of conversations had back and forth. She'll be in the hot seat now. So next question is, how will the Democratic voters, well, not how do they feel right now about Harris being the nominee?
The voters, not the Congress, right?
Yes, just the voters.
The constituents.
Because as I said, right now, we can squabble over the names. And if she's not it, then she's not it. Let that be. And then if she is, then she is. But squabble over the names now. And then once you got your name, one task. You know how this ends if you don't get behind that one person, whoever it is. Joe Biden did what he was supposed to do. Now, mind you, keep this in mind too. This stuff is pre-written. I'm pretty sure in both of their charts it said something about this somewhere out there. It is, all this is pre-written. We're just living scripts down now. What he has done was bring us back from the brink of destruction. The same happened when Obama stepped in after Bush left. They always pull us back from the ledge, and then you get a Republican behind it to push it back closer. So Joe Biden did exactly what Joe Biden was supposed to do, and he did it under a Republican House in a very, very tight Senate. So he did a lot, mind you. They listed Kamala's accomplishments on Twitter somewhere, and it was a 2-page thing. It was like 68 different things that she did as VP, because mind you, he was handing a lot of stuff off to her so that she can go, like she had the president of Mexico and did that whole meeting and then flew over to France. Like she was doing things that VPs usually don't. So she's been a little piece of tested there, but Joe Biden has done a whole lot. You just look it up. It's there. And he did it under the pressure that he's under at the age he is at. Let's keep that in mind too. Donald Trump ain't but 10 seconds younger than he is, while we keep harping on Biden's age. But anyway, what y'all get?
You know, this is so sudden, like it hadn't sunk in yet with a lot, is what I'm getting. That they'll vote for her. They'll vote, like they're going to vote blue no matter who, is what I'm getting. They'll donate to her. They would like to see her elevated, but they feel like, that this is a backstabbing moment to Biden. They do think that that she can tame the beast, so to speak, and beat Trump. So they would partner with her, but they're wondering if the donors will do something sneaky, like they just did with Biden with her. And they're worried about Trump coming in, taking advantage.
I get the fish, the ship, the whip, garden, and anchor. How do the voters feel? The independents are not happy because the fish is the independents. The whip and the anchor. So they're just like WTF, WTF. Do you see what I'm saying? There's a lot of people in the party that are pissed off at the party for the transition away. Do you see what I'm saying? So how do the voters feel? The central card is the whip. A lot of anger. A lot of people are angry, frustrated, like, what are you doing? The fish being a lot, an abundance of something. So an abundance of anger and an abundance of criticism at the party of what are you doing? So, and I get a lot of fighting within the party as well with these three. Fighting, there's the party, and then there's persistence. So for months and months and months, it's been the Republican Party in chaos. They're dysfunctional, but they're very united in their dysfunction. I mean, they just nominated an 80-year-old, soon to be 80-year-old convicted felon who incited an insurrection as their nominee, and they're all for it. You know what I mean? Like, so I get anger. I get a lot of people are angry about it. So
let me wait a minute. One second. No, don't do that. Where'd it go? Where'd it go?
Just to address the person that's commenting on Reader said Biden would win and blah, blah,
Wait,
blah.
Let me go there. Let me go there. I'm going to go there right now, actually. I don't want this to sound like I'm beating up on you at all because you have a point, right? But I do want to say this, and I have said this for I don't know how many weeks in a row. We are not reporters. This is not fact. This is technically gossip and hearsay and conjecture, all of this. Why? Because none of this is true until you see it on the news somewhere. I get what you're saying, because when you look at the readings and you hear all the readings and you hear everybody basically parrot the same thing, you get your hopes up. And then you start thinking, okay, that person said it, that person said it. And mind you, when this person said it, thank you, Joanne, this person said this, and then it turned out to be true. And then you think, oh, that person is psychic, or they know what they're doing, or they have some sort of insight. And then they say another thing, and then it's false. And then you think, well, energy shifted. I hate that phrase, but it's technically.
It's a lot of free will.
The energy shifted, so that's why it's different now. Okay, fine. But this is not fact until you see it on the news or until it happens in your life. These are not fact. We are not reporters, which means, and I keep saying that, watch this for the purposes of entertainment. Don't take away what I just said and then think it's going to happen. You can believe what you want to believe, but none of this is true until you see it or you read it or you experience it.
And can I
get what you're saying though.
Can I have my hand raised. Can I just
go ahead?
And if you don't like it, don't watch.
Yes.
If it's going to trigger you, don't watch.
Because I get it. I do get it. I'm not, because again, I don't want to sound like I'm harping on you or anything like that, because I totally get what you're saying. But this is not true until you see it. Keep that in mind.
I always got when Trump was president that he would not finish his term, that he would be pushed out.
Everybody
Well,
said that.
2 impeachments, 2 opportunities to get rid of him, But
And bear this in mind too, and this is one of those things too, and I encourage anybody who wants to do it, learn to read this, and you will see exactly why you get things wrong. And you will see exactly why something you say does not come to pass because something else did.
Sometimes it can be reader error, and sometimes it's
Stuff
the cards.
changes.
And sometimes it's just the cards. Sometimes the cards don't get it right either. Maybe it's how you worded it, or it's just entertainment.
Questions do matter.
Don't ever go to see a reader or a psychic or whatever to make major life decisions or anything like that, because that's just dumb. Okay,
And I'll tell you this too, from experience, that your personal reading is going to be a lot more accurate than political readings. Your personal life is not that crazy to where you have 50 different energies moving at the same time usually. And so when you're doing a political read, it's a lot different because Joe Biden is standing on the stage with Donald Trump. You can try to figure out maybe how they will interact with each other. But if Donald Trump lies the entire time and is never fact checked, and then Biden has a crick in his throat, and then people think he had a bad performance, the whole thing was messed up, and then now all of a sudden he's too old and he's too feeble and he's sick and he's this, and then that whole scenario did not play out in people's cards, but yet it played out in real life. So it's going to be a little different. Deep breath, calm down. It's okay.
You got 535 people in Congress alone that affect decisions.
And
you have people in your personal life affecting things? No.
And also, I wasn't on YouTube during that time. But how many, just out of curiosity, how many readers said Hillary was going to win, and then we woke up to a very nasty reality? Do you see what I'm saying? So it's not just this instance or this election. It's just, are you noticing a trend here? Do you see what I'm saying? Like, it's just, this is not certainty. This is not written in stone. So
it's written in ink and paper.
Mm-hmm. I always tell people when I do personal readings, the thing about getting a personal reading is to bring clarity and to show you opportunities so that you can make the best decision for yourself. But it's not set in stone. Like, I can see when you have an opportunity for a new job, but you have to apply for it. You have to look for it. If you don't do that, then it won't happen.
It's kind of like saying, I want to hit the lotto, but then you never go buy a ticket. It's not just going to land in your lap.
But just do your part on the outside world. Don't hear Joe Biden's going to win and then think I don't need to vote. You still need to be engaged in life. Otherwise, anyway. So no harping on that. But I get what you're saying. But just keep in mind, this really is entertainment. Okay, I'm not trying to change nobody's life. But how does the voters feel? There is Kamala Harris there. It's going to be a bumpy road. The Chariot card is a card of teamwork, but it takes work. What I will say is the infrastructure is very strong. And so the people that are behind her, or that were behind him, or now behind her, that part is very strong. So you don't have to worry about the wavering there. But since we're talking about how voters would feel, this card here, the Chariot card, takes convincing. Because if you see in this card, the person has no reins. So they don't control the thing that makes it move. You have to talk it to your side. You have to convince it that if we all go in the same direction, we will win. This is the final card. So this is a card of victory, but you have to get everything on the same page first. This is a card of opposites. If you see in his shoulders, one face is smiling, the other one is frowning. There's the black sphinx and the white sphinx facing two different directions. There's the symbol of air and the symbol of earth. So it's a card of opposites. But if you can get it to go in the same direction, you'll be just fine. So that's her hurdle right now. We'll see how that goes. Next question. How will the DNC convention go?
Because they got crazy astrology going on during it, just like the RNC one.
That one is special.
So it's crazy. Now, I will say Kamala's astrology looks really good around the election, from what I've heard in watching astrologers talk about her. So let's see, how would the DNC convention go?
Our first official act should be getting rid of the Electoral College.
And the Citizens United.
Yes.
Get the money out of politics so that the voters get to vote for who's in, not the let's make this up as we go along crap.
Tell her to use some of her presidential immunity. Put Donald Trump in jail and say he's a terrorist.
I hope the last day that Biden's in office, he pardons Hunter. He's not going to do it before because he doesn't want to affect the election, but I hope his last day in office, he pardons Hunter.
Which would be in January, right?
Yeah. The what do you call it? Swearing in is January 20th or 21st. I couldn't even watch most of the RNC convention. I watched snippets mostly from videos on YouTube because I just couldn't take it. I was like, oh my God, these people are just horrible people.
It was just a crazy town fest. I watched bits and pieces on Twitter. I mean, I thought Jerry Springer television was trash television back in the day. It was like Jerry Springer on every freaking steroid on the planet. It was absolute insanity and a total clown show. I was like, what is happening here? We are the party of law and order. Meanwhile, they're nominating a convicted felon. Like what is happening here? What is happening here? And then the teleprompter went out, so Moses Mike ran away because he didn't know what he was supposed to say. I mean, it was just like, what is happening? People in the audience wearing maxi pads on their ear to stand in solidarity. I mean, it was just
you can't make this stuff up. It's like I love that people were talking on Twitter, like you couldn't get them to wear a mask during the pandemic, but they'll put a maxi pad on their ear.
Yeah.
They're so gullible. It's like, his selling his new sneakers. What are they called, Becca?
Yes, the assassination attempt sneakers. He's selling them now. They're just like the tacky gold ones, except they're white. And what's supposed to look like the American flag is, I don't know who copy and pasted that image and said, put this on a shoe, because that's nowhere near the American flag. Before we had, the 50 stars on our flag, or back when we had the 13, I think there's like 6 stars on there, and it makes some weird shape, not even a circle. I was like, what are they doing?
They're making their own flag, their MAGA flag.
It must be that flag for the, the 81 states that we're in instead of the 50. I don't know.
The DNC convention is going to be very illuminating. I've got America here at the bottom watching the work going on, and it's like trying to change and dissatisfaction and a lot of backstabbing and a lot of sneaking around and, conversations around the back of the water cooler. It's not even in front of it. It's going to be back house. It's really like, it'll eventually calm down and they'll come together, for a leader. But before that happens, it is just a shit show. It's just arguing and bullying and pushing and burdening and breaking apart and fracturing. They'll eventually get it together. They'll eventually come together for a leader,
And this is on the DNC, right?
Yeah. But it's gonna be a lot of arguing, and it'll be interesting to see like how the nominations go, how many people get nominated.
Mm-hmm. Tearing down the foundation to try to rebuild again. This is a lot of pressure to try to block and things of that nature. So yeah, it's definitely not the place where pretty is going to happen. In the beginning, there is also an agenda that is, mind you, this is part of their agenda period, by Republicans. They are in the building. To keep that in mind, they are in the building, and they may be the sheep's clothing. They may look like Democrats. Remember Cinema? Remember Manchin? They may look like they're on your side. There are some Republicans in the building. They need to infest and to poison the well. This is trying to fracture the relationship building. And so that's the point of the whole thing, which strategy-wise is not a horrible idea if you're trying to cheat and win, but it's not going to sustain. There is some sort of there's pushing out of the fakeness of the not toxic positivity. It's more of this thing, whatever this structure is. It's pushing out of that thing. This is how it ends. And so they will end in the same place or in the same page, but it will start. Okay, let me rephrase. It's not going to be a televised shit show like the RNC. I think if you're on the floor, though, and you got your little handheld and camera, then you'll see some of this, like the Matt Gaetz arguing with the fool that left the speakership, that type of thing. That's not on TV everywhere, but somebody captured it somewhere. So if you look at what's going on the floor, then okay, fine, you'll see the nice nasty going on. But on TV, it will all come together. So
you won't see Matt Gaetz over Botox face or Guilfoyle grabbing her crotch. Because she's got a little fishy, itchy kitty.
What is wrong with paper potatoes? Okay. How does Donald Trump feel that Kamala is the potential opponent? She ain't got it yet, but how does he feel about that now?
Yeah, you might have to debate her.
And that's not she. Listen. I wonder if he have a dead fly on his head now.
on the maxi pad. Oh my God! They got his former doctor Ronnie Jackson or Ronnie Johnson.
Mind you, everybody has been saying, and it's as a reminder, that his license was revoked, so he's not.
He's not a doctor anymore. Do his release about how he's healing and how he's been traveling around with Trump to make sure he's okay. It's like
he said he has a little blood every now and then from an assault rifle. Now, mind you, he didn't get shot, but it skinned his ear, and that's just a little blood. Boy, please. And the Emmy goes too. Thank you very much. How does he feel? That's how. That's all I need. There you go, Sheridan. He's a dealer. That's what he is.
Yeah. The candy man.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of our donors are the same on both sides of the aisle. They give here, they give there, right?
Money out of politics. That's what you need. you want to fix anything, that's the first thing to fix. That fixes a whole lot of other things.
And how you fix that? You fix the Supreme Court. That made that whole thing happen in the first place.
He thinks he's stronger than her and that he can cause a lot of chaos over this. He thinks he can stir up more chaos over having Kamala. And like, he's not sure the job is hers yet anyway. But I get he's like reaching out to like donors to try to get them not to donate to her, that kind of thing. He feels quite secure about running against her if it's her.
Mm-hmm.
This
overconfidence.
This came up in his grand tableau too. He was in that. I don't know if y'all remember, but he was in the House of Women, and I said he wants it to be her, so that because he feels he can overpower her and he'll win. This is the fish, the scythe, the garden, the coffin, and the whip. He's confident. She's not popular. He can beat her. An abundance or a lot of prosperity cut off. Popularity ends. And then there's the beating. So I just from that read, I would say he's pretty confident that she's not popular and he can beat her.
I get the opposite, actually. There is the manipulative one who is quite devastated. Now, mind you, he would never tell you that. But there's something in the wind. I don't know if he's distracted because, mind you, hashtag grain of salt. Ignore everything I'm about to say because it's a conspiracy. Ignore everything I'm about to say because it's a conspiracy. I'll say it again. Ignore everything I'm about to say because it's a conspiracy.
Okay, I'm paying attention.
I think he's distracted because he had his incident at the rally. There's two schools of thought, right? One that it was staged and one that it was real. And I can believe both. Really can, because he's not hurt. But there are some messages that are being sent his way, and he would be a fool to ignore. No more criticizing Project 2025. Not in public, sir. No, and we picked the VP for you because he don't know who J.D. Vance is more so than he knew who Mike Pence was. I think he's distracted. There's something about a group of people there that may be distracting him. I'll just see it that way. I'm trying to be covert. But he feels as though he can win against anybody because if you have a repeat of what happened the last time where he gets to spew anything and is never fact-checked, then what? I mean, it is a lot. And mind you, I keep this in mind too for Joe Biden. It's a lot harder to both tell the truth on your own side and try to clean up somebody else's lie in one sentence. It's like, so you have to not only answer the question, but you have to now rebut what he just, that's.
And here's the thing. They had, 2 minutes to answer. Meanwhile, Donald Trump is spewing nonsense and lies for 8 minutes straight. And then Joe Biden goes to talk. Okay, you have 1 minute and 45 seconds. Shut up.
Yeah.
So how are you supposed to correct what he said when it was all nothing but lies? Answer the question and answer the question on top of that when the other guy lied the whole time and didn't even answer the question. He danced around everything and didn't even answer. And it was just like lies. I mean, it was a fire hose of lies. 30 lies in in that debate they've counted so far. So
we're going to move on. And for those who saw the RNC and my pillow's favorite friend, Donald Trump, who was auditioning for his Always with Wings Maxipad commercial. He had a low energy speech because apparently they were telling him that would make him more likable even though he rambled the entire time. They had a Sikh open with a prayer and then immediately was attacked on Twitter because they said she was praying to a demon. They have J.D. Vance, who has a brown wife and a son named Vivek, which the MAGA also don't like. But mind you, they don't get to choose because Russia chose for you. This is what happens when you like dictators. They had Rudy Giuliani walking down the aisle, looking at the floor and trying to get as close to it as he possibly could.
He ate shit. Like he's just walking, bam. I was like, oh my God, what the hell happened?
At first, I'm thinking the reason he fell is because the stage and the floor, and he couldn't see the difference. And then he stepped and then he kept falling. I think he was a little Budweiser, if you ask me. So
I mean, okay, look, I'll say it. I trip on flat surfaces because I'm not born. But he looked freaking inebriated. He was inebriated when he walked.
He was drunk. He was drunker and shit. And the atheist porn star was my favorite.
Oh yeah,
speaker.
Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan, a raging racist, was on there. Kid Rock, a raging. I mean, it was just
Amber Rose. For those who do not know who she was when you saw her at the RNC with the tattoo across her forehead. She was famous because she dated Kanye West. She was not anything in particularly known to people before that. That's how she got her claim to fame. And oddly enough, she became famous because she was mystique. She didn't speak at all. And so there was Kanye, and she was always walking around with the big dark glasses, that's always this big on the face. And she said nothing and said nothing ever. And so they thought, oh, she's so mysterious because she never speaks. No.
And she also started the site OnlyFans.
And so another thing with Amber Rose is she got on the RNC stage and said that this is the party that is going to protect our babies. And mind you, this is the woman who, after her split with Kanye West, her claim to fame then was trying to own the word slut because she hopped from bed to bed and she didn't want to be slut shamed. And so she had what she would call the slut walk, where she had a whole bunch of anybody who wanted to come, but it was more aimed at women. It was supposed to be an empowering thing, to where people who say that, because if a man did it, then he was just sowing his wild oats. But if a woman did it, then she's a slut. And so she had the slut walk, and they would all go marching, hand slut and hand slut and hand down the street type of thing. Okay. That was her next claim to fame. And then she became a rapper, and then she became a podcaster. And so there's all that.
And what's funny too about her is I don't follow pop culture at all. I couldn't tell you who she is. But I saw old interviews that people were putting up on Twitter that she had done where she was calling herself an atheist and saying that Satan was great because he encourages women to have abortions. This is who they had on the stage. Satan is great. He's encouraging women to have abortions. Okay. I'm perfectly happy being a slut. I also own I started a porn site, and this is the party that's going to save our babies. Make that make sense, because you can't get any more upside down than that.
So here's how we're going to bring this full circle. Rumor has it that she is at the RNC bigging up Donald Trump because she might need a pardon one day.
Ooh,
because apparently she was involved in crypto scams, allegedly. But now she is starting another one called Muva or something like that, MUVA. And a lot of people are bringing up old tweets where she was, or old Instagram posts where she was talking about somebody else's crypto this and trying to promote somebody else's crypto that. And they did a bunch of pump and dump things to where they put a bunch of money in and then it all crashed and then they got their money back or some crap like that. So what I want to know, or want the question to be, is what is her motive for being at the RNC? They will take anybody they can get because their celebrity class is quite small. Kid Rock and Amber Rose, or whatever her name is. They can't get Beyonce. They couldn't even get George Clooney with his turncoat Judas self. They could get Amber Rose and Kid Rock.
And Melania looking disgusted through Kid Rock's performance.
And Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan is special.
Yeah, he's a special kind of racist.
Yes. Who claims he's not, but we heard you. This is the same Hulk Hogan who said his daughter can't date or marry black men.
Unless they're really wealthy.
Yes. He has a store that has a man who runs the store who's full of conspiracy theories about how the government is tracking you with COVID vaccines, and he's anti-mask and that's Hulk Hogan. That's who they got to speak.
I want to know what kind of drugs Hulk Hogan is, because he looks exactly the same today as he did when I was an itty bitty little kid watching WWE. Like, did they mummify him? What? He has not aged at all. With the amount of steroids that man has done in his entire life, he still looks the same as when I was 6, 7 years old watching WWF.
Mm-hmm. The ultimate liar, too. He lies more than Trump, believe it or not.
I can't
believe it.
And I can't believe that, because I've never really followed wrestling. I only did when I was little, because it was what was on regular TV. We didn't have cable, so it was like
everything out of his mouth is a lie. I guess he lies the same as Trump. I don't think he lies more than Trump. I don't think that's possible, but he's the same.
Yeah, she was there because of Trump. It's like she's having a dark night of the soul and a lot of endings with work. So I think she's hurting financially and feeling a little stuck. So she was trying to move some energy, get some change going for her, manipulate some people. She's looking for money. She's looking for jobs, work, money, backers, whatever you want to call it, investors, that kind of thing. But she's scrambling here. She's and whatever has gone on that she's covered up, she may be looking to Trump to help her with. So,
what were you just cracking up about on the Johnny?
This whole thing, like what was all that?
Guilty, gifted, innocence.
Pardon. Mission for a pardon.
Mm-hmm.
That's a mess.
She's got no money. Her life's chaos.
I am not saying that she is a thief. I am not saying that. But if you Google 7 of Swords, you tell me what it means. You Google 9 of Pentacles and you tell me what that means. And then put them together and then tell me what both of them mean. There is some sort of thievery around not money, large sums of money. The Ace of Pentacles is a lot of money. Page of Pentacles can be a lot of money, more contracts and that type of thing. 6 of Pentacles is donations. This is riches and glory, things that are expensive. Lifestyle. Anything that is going to take a lot of money, there is a grift. This is in the word of warning, which means this is the thing you need to look out for. There is the theft. Right across from it is the 9 of Pentacles. There is something she wants here, some sort of peace and rest from the King of Swords. There's some sort of searching she is doing. There's also an investigation possibly into large sums of money. This has not happened yet, but watch this space, as they say. She has some sort of regrets over lies and gossip, because this is now about. I interrupt my own self so much, Jesus. Mind you, keep this in mind. What is it going to take? How many examples do you need to stop following this man. The closer you get to him, the more you're investigated, the more you're indicted, the more IRS is looking at you, the more SEC is looking. The closer you get to Donald Trump, the more up your life is. And I don't understand why now you need to be in his presence.
Hey, who invited her? I mean, is she buddies with,
I think
Lara Trump or?
I think what happened was they were just trying to get anybody in there, and it was like a really bad. I mean, these were like not even B-list people. These were like way at the negative Z.
This is like the Real World when it first started or something. It's like, I know who these people are.
It's like they went through the Jerry Springer shows and they were like, let's find the crappiest people and bring them on. Kid Rock, Hulk Hogan, this lady. I mean, it was just like, what is happening here? What is
I would bet most of the people that were there had no idea who she was.
No idea. Wasn't he going to sleep during when she was talking?
He was falling asleep through the whole thing.
He fell asleep when Don Jr. was talking.
It was the painkillers, mind you. It's the painkillers.
Oh, yeah. As a deer.
Yeah. Now, Johnny, you have to admit your favorite part was when they booed Mitch McConnell.
I definitely did not watch this. If I wanted to watch the shit show, I'd put my head on my own ass. But
Johnny!
This was interesting and familiar, I would say.
What the hell?
Okay, we need that on a t-shirt now.
Oh my God! There used to be an album cover. There used to be an album cover way back in the day. I think it was Green Day, and it's a guy with his head up his own ass.
Oh, you pardon me.
my head up my own ass.
We need that.
I mean, if I wanted to watch one, that's what I'd do, right? I mean, again, more interesting and familiar. So.
Oh my God. Oh, that hurt.
Enough hard now I can't contain myself.
Oh, shit.
Oh, Lord. Well, speaking of containing, somebody let the brown people in the room, and it wasn't me. What I want to know is, will J.D. Vance help Donald Trump? His numbers, his popularity, his whatever you want to ask.
Yeah, they were ripping his wife all over the place.
And she was a clerk for who? One of the Supreme Court people or something? Like she's a lifelong Republican person. So I mean,
yeah, but she's the wrong persuasion for MAGA.
She's just a little tan for their in particular liking. I mean, like even when it's one of your own, I mean, God dog. Will he help him?
J.D. Vance, will he deport his own wife? Will he also deport Melania?
They wanted her to speak so bad, and she wouldn't. She just came out and hit the wave.
And then sat there looking disgusted. She came in late and wouldn't sit by Trump.
They were
avoided his kiss when he tried to kiss her.
They were showing Melania when who was it? I think it was Kid Rock performing to like an audience of 12, and she's sitting there. She's like she's got that fake smile on her face, and it's just
yeah, I can't even hold the fake smile. Giving me a headache in here.
I don't think I've ever heard any of his music.
Wait, what was our question?
Will J.D. Vance help Donald Trump at all? His numbers, his popularity, his anything. Thank you, Karen, for reposting the question.
No. He may cause him to lose people instead of getting to higher ground. He's a problem. He's a problem. Everybody's already talking about him now. And his wife. Yeah. Change in donations. You know what it is they're afraid if there's another attack and JD Vance was made president, but yeah, like they wouldn't have it. Like they wouldn't want him as president. Yeah, no. They think things he's done in the government are very sneaky and suspicious, and they don't like him.
Not only that, but they're criticizing him that he's the youngest VP ever.
And I thought we didn't like old people now.
He's the youngest ever. And also, by the way, he's only served one term in the Senate.
Yeah,
he has no experience. No experience. Does he help Trump with the voters? An abundance of votes is uncertain. That's a big old hell no. So, just saying. Just saying. If the racists don't like you because he married a black woman. This reminds me of that the Dave Chappelle skit where with the blind black white supremacist. When he finds out that he was married to a white woman, he divorced her because she's an N lover. Meanwhile, he's the black guy. Like it's the whole thing. It's the whole thing.
The answer is no, but I want to go through all this first. There is something about, I don't know if there's going to be attacks on like verbal attacks, not attacks on his children or his child or something. There's a child here and there's a group of people that may be targeting. Since his name is Vivek, I guess so. But this is almost like a rash decision. This is how some people may feel, as though because that's what the fool does, mind you, this is spontaneity. Like they made a rash decision, but some will support and some will not. But ultimately, I got no. There are clear, distinctive no cards in the tarot, and this is two of them right there. You can get a yes out of this after the disaster has happened. So it's like once you've lost everything, then you start over. Once you've lost everything, then you start. I shouldn't say yes. You can get a positive spin, but you cannot get necessarily yes. So I'm going to have to say no. It will not help him at all. What I want to know now is how does his wife feel, JD Vance's wife, feel about all of this? Because she could be first lady, mind you. Biden is old and his health is not improving. Trump is right behind him, mind you. The same when we act like mathematics failed all of a sudden and we didn't know Trump was going to be this old or Biden was going to be this old. He's right around the corner. So she can go from sitting in the bleachers to first lady. Thank you. Robertson Kavanaugh. She clerked for both of them.
Uh-huh.
Oh, boy.
She's kind of surprised he got it. There's a payout. There's money involved here with them. Like new money opportunity. To get him to run for this in the government and stuff. So that who is it? Peter Thiel that put him forward? I'm going to say it's like Peter Thiel. Like there's money behind this. If he's successful, like he's gonna get more money if he's successful. There's a plan and a scheme behind this. But she's anxious because she's not sure that he can pull it off. But there's a lot of money behind this. Like if he pulls it off, it looks to me like he's gonna get a nice kickback for it. That makes sense. Paid vacations or something.
For Donald Trump saying immigrants are ruining this country, I can name 3 right now. Elon Musk, Peter Thiel, and Rupert Murdoch. Those 3 sons of bitches right there have hurt this country more than any Mexican coming over from Mexico. Just saying.
Yeah.
How does his wife feel? Man, whip, bear, snake, book. The man abuses power and he's a liar. And there's a lot of stuff that he's hiding. So she's looking at this going, I know exactly who Trump is. And my husband's going to be just like him. Man abuses power, liar. There's stuff here with finances too that he's keeping secret. So I'm just saying, she's like, oh, so, and here's the thing. This reads here says that she knows her, if the man is, because I asked, how does his wife feel about him becoming vice president? This man here would be her husband. So just by close proximity to Trump, you can bet your butt that he's going to be in the criminality and abusing power right along with Trump with impunity. So I'm just saying, it's like, okay, I guess you want criminal convictions too, but the Supreme Court just said, yeah, he can pardon whoever he wants with no whatever. So she knows that he's going to abuse power and be a liar just as bad. And just.
That's what I get. There is some sort of confusion here. I think this is more like it's kind of a whirlwind for her. But there's a man here who is, this is the word of warning, so that's like the negative, has some sort of power problem. And this is not Trump. This would be her husband, dark-haired man. So he has some sort of power issue or power struggle, or because I get this too. I try not to walk the conspiracy line. There's a power struggle, and it may be between those two. How does Vance feel about Trump? Can we ask that? That was my next question. Because I mean, it kind of matters and kind of doesn't. They're going to follow him anyway, but behind the scenes is a different thing.
Thinks he's a thief. Right on the bottom. He's surprised he wasn't blocked for Nikki Haley. So he's surprised he's gotten this far. He also thought he stood a better chance against Biden if Biden had stuck in there. So now that we got Kamala, right, the woman coming in, he's thinking he's going to get defeated. Not enough votes. Or whoever replaces Biden. He thinks he's a liar and a partier. Backstabber. Protect yourself around him. Yeah, you better. you're going to end up with a fly on your head too and gallows out there.
But he's already telegraphed that he'd be willing to do what Pence didn't do.
Yeah.
So what does he think about Trump? The moon, the snake, the anchor, perpetual liar, perpetual backstabber, perpetual vindictive petty person. His entire celebrity is all lies. It's all one big persistent effing lie. He has no respect for him, nothing. He sees Trump as a stepping stone to get to where he wants to get to. And with this, he's willing to do it himself too. If this is his fame and celebrity, he's willing to lie about it too, to achieve what it is he wants to achieve. But what does he think about Trump? He thinks about Trump the same way we all think about Trump. So
the opportunity to be in his spot and to raise his image. That's what I meant.
Those cards, the moon, the snake, and the anchor, he would jump on the chance to betray Trump, to like leapfrog to where he needs to get. If you're picking up what I'm putting down.
So what is it? The 24th Amendment. He'd have him removed. Incompetence.
Mm-hmm.
To leapfrog him.
Change of pace a tiny bit. Was Rudy drunk? He was walking down the aisle, minding his own business, and he looks down at the chair or something.
Yeah, it's like he got fixated on the chair, like it was a magnet that just pulled him over.
It's as I said, he looked at the floor and he wanted to be as close as possible to it, I guess. What cracked me up in the whole thing, and I shouldn't laugh, but I did, because I just did. I don't know why humans find it funny when other humans fall, but what cracked me up was all the people rushing in to take pictures. They didn't see if he was okay, or they just click. Oh my God, what a mess. Anyway, was he drunk? Or did he just? I first thought, because I tried to give him the benefit of the doubt, that he was walking and he didn't realize the stage and the floor were two different heights, I guess, or I don't know. And then he stepped.
He was walking up an aisle.
And
It didn't look like there were any steps. It looked flat, like he was walking up the aisle.
He just crumpled and fell.
Might have had a little dizzy spell, but
We'll see drunk. Oh, okay.
Talk about day drinking.
Too much everything.
I get the same thing. He was abusing. There's the man with the whip. He was abusing something. So was he drinking? It's a man that has an addiction, man that abuses something.
Mm-hmm.
So make of that what you will. But the real question should be, when is Giuliani not drunk?
it's, I think he was looking for a bar in the back of the room because he is like bad news and something that keeps repeating with the addiction issue or abuse issue. It's something he does every day. He's day drinking, and he just wobbled and fell out. Definitely chaos in his body, so to speak. But yeah, he was over imbibing. But I think he was like looking for the bar in the back of the room. He's just over imbibing.
So changing pace. This is wrong. Okay, quit calling that man Hot Wheels. But
Can we just call him
That's
Mario
so
Kart?
rude to call that child Hot Wheels, but I've seen a new name that apparently Texans are also calling him Speed Racer. And so-
Can we just call him Mario Kart? I mean, come on.
and it's so rude. I don't care for that. I don't like that, Raymond, as what you call it used to say. So it's okay. Greg Abbott, Speed Racer, as he's known in Texas, is pretending to be upset because what's this children called Centerpoint has not gotten everybody's power back on. And apparently there were tons and tons of people. There were pockets where like your neighbor across the street has power and then all of y'all on this block do not. So it was taking too long, and apparently they didn't do a very good job when it came to clearing the trees or trimming the trees throughout the year. That way, when something happened, it didn't knock all the power lines down and blah, 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 blah. And then he's saying that, you know, he's threatening executive order and investigations and all these different types of things.
To do what?
He's puffing his chest out because he wants to sound like he's being hard on Centerpoint.
Is he going to go after them with the same vigor he's gone after trans kids and pregnant women?
Because keep in mind, in the comment section, people were like, excuse me, Speed Racer, we're not stupid. You, governor of Texas, kept us off the national grid.
Yep.
Because every time they tried to propose getting on the national grid, you and your cronies shot it down. Because you wanted to control the money that you could charge, the money that you spend, the money that you collected.
If I could just add to that, Sunday night when I lost power, 500,000 homes here were without power. 500,000, and my power was back on at 3 a.m. It went out around 9:30, but by 3 a.m. I had my power back. He's got a problem.
And we have weeks since the hurricane, and people are still without power. And mind you, it's 50,000 degrees in Texas right now.
Mm-hmm. So
they have cooling centers. It's like, but I have a cooling center. It's called My House. Can you put my power back on, please? And then watch next week, somebody's power is going to be back on, and their light bill is going to be $4,000.
Oh, I remember that fiasco from a few years ago. People were getting
when people froze, and then next thing you know, they were getting bills with astronomical. Like it's.
Let me charge you $1,700, $4,000 for power you didn't have. Like the insanity of it. I think people are starting to get smart on Abbott because it's just like this.
Because they were saying, I mean, mind you, we here don't keep up with Texas politics all that much, but people on the ground there in Texas know who to blame. This is not all Centerpoint's fault, because you can sit there in your Speed Racer cart and say, okay, it's their fault and I'm going to open an investigation and I'm going to do this. He said this is a fireable thing where heads need to roll and jobs need to be lost and all. Like he was doing a lot of bolstering about Centerpoint being the fault of all of this.
Gotta love how they finger point and gaslight, huh? I mean,
because my question now is, because mind you, energy, even Beto O'Rourke, energy controls Texas, controls every politician that Texas ever produces. Energy is the biggest contributor to their campaigns. So what I want to know is the relationship between Centerpoint and Greg Abbott. Is it falling apart, or is this just for TV?
And this, Mary brought up a great point too. He was in Asia when the hurricane hit. He wasn't even at home. He knew the hurricane was coming.
He just at the RNC too. Like, don't you got something better to do?
Yeah, it's like take care of what's in your own yard. Quit worrying about your neighbors.
Same with Cancun cruise. Disaster hits, they go somewhere else. Must be nice.
And we had tornadoes, and my power was back on in 5 hours. And
and that's why I say too that when people say you have to flee because the hurricane is coming or storms and all, flee where? It costs money to leave. I don't care where you're going to go. It costs money to get there. And if you are in a position where you make $7.25 an hour, and you may depend on government assistance for anything or everything. Where are you going to go and how are you going to get there? It's nice to say, okay, hurricane's coming, evacuate. Evacuate where and how? You're not giving me money to leave and go stay at the Red Roof Inn just miles inland. Then got to go to a whole other state, but how do I get there?
Meanwhile, if you want to get an abortion, you can't flee the state, you know?
But hey, it's all those slutty women getting abortions and those damn trans kids that did all this. Like, so we got to make sure we ban more books. I mean, if all you got to do is look at all these red states, all the red states that have Republican governors, Republican houses, Republican Supreme Courts, and look at all the mess they're in. And then come and try to convince me that Republican policies are great for everybody. Because last time I checked, all those states were in a crap ton of trouble like this.
He's just trying to cover his ass, is what I'm getting. He may try to paint it in a different, like try to get people to look at it differently, but you know, being practical, he's a loser. You know, he's out partying, running around and everything, and the contract, you know, is with Centerpoint or whoever. He's just trying to cover his own butt, stay in power. He thinks people will give up on this, you know, and leave him alone eventually, but he's just trying to cover up. People are looking into it. It's burdening him.
Is this his last term, or does he have another term after this? Does anybody know?
Is he up for re-election?
Or is he termed out in Texas? Because I get the storks, the ring, the mountain, the clouds, and the man. His relationship with the power companies, it's good. It's good for the power companies because he has blocked changes and improvements. So the beneficiary is the actual company. Does that make sense? He's trying to distance himself with that and create chaos and confusion, gaslighting. I get his relationship is fine in favor of the gas company or the electrical companies. He's got 2 more years left, but can he run for re-election?
There are no term limits in Texas, and he was reelected in 2022, so he can run another time. But
he has blocked improvements, and he has blocked changes to the contracts with the utilities companies, the power company, whatever. I don't think people are buying it because it's this. People know that he's part of the problem, and he created that problem. And he's trying to wiggle out. He's trying to create uncertainty around that relationship. He's trying to cast doubt that he's in cahoots. Do you see what I'm saying? And then here, changes and improvements, he helped block. So it's one of those CYOAs, cover your own ass sort of thing, if you're picking up what I'm putting down.
Probably getting kickbacks from the companies.
I don't get any money cards in this at all. I just see that he has been that he's been in cahoots with not allowing changes to the contract or preserving the company's power, if that makes sense.
There is a company, and there is holding on here. They may want a scapegoat. I think that instead of saying Centerpoint, he should have said CEOs or executives, something like that, at Centerpoint. Because that puts a person in the hot seat instead of the whole company. Now, you can't really hurt an energy company because what is your alternatives? You don't have a competing energy company. that can then come in, because who's going to get solar and all these other type of things when they can barely afford the light bill? So they don't have a whole lot of competition. And so you can't really hurt CenterPoint, because what are you going to do? Live off the grid? You're kind of that way now. And so
if it gets too hot, you're living off the grid. If it gets too cold, you're living off the grid.
You're living off the grid because you have all these damn power failures, because you have the suckiest governor that's ever existed outside of Death, Satan, and the rest. Anyway. So to go back into, no, wait, let's see here. We'll stay on Texas for one more hot second. Elon is considering moving X and SpaceX to Texas.
I thought he already did.
Did he do it already?
When I had talked to Peanut months ago, he was saying that Tesla was moving out of California to Texas to save.
Well, no, not Tesla. X, as in Twitter.
And Twitter. Oh, okay. So he's going to move Silicon Valley to Texas.
He's threatening that right now. I don't know if he's actually going to do it.
But that's to send himself to the moon and just not come back.
Put himself in his car and shoot it in space.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So he's threatening to do that. What I want to know, though, is how will that affect his business?
Moving from
California to Texas for X. Well, instead of doing both of them, we'll just do Twitter. I'm not calling it X. For Twitter, the headquarters.
So will he do it, or how will it?
How will it affect his business if he does it?
If he moves to Texas. He won't have power.
That's kind of why I was asking that question.
I just heard that, like, he won't be able to keep power on.
That's why I was kind of asking that question. Maybe he can help. SpaceX, X, and Tesla.
Get you a big Tesla battery on the building, because you won't have power. A lot of generators. He's going to have energy problems. He is going to have energy problems. It's going to be a little bit chaotic, and like trying to shift things with the government. It's not going to help.
Such a goofy boy.
Get your generators before you go.
I think I screwed up my question, because I asked, how is moving Twitter from California to Texas going to affect the company?
Yes,
I didn't realize. Oh, okay. I thought it was Twitter and SpaceX. So I only asked.
Well, either one. He's moving them both.
I don't get that it's going to go well. The child, the house, the fox, the birds, that would be your Twitter, and the mountain. Any workers that have families, they don't want to go. Or families that are planning, or married couples that are planning for a family, they don't want to go. There's the children in homes, and then there's the work. There's your Twitter, there's the blockage. I don't think workers are going to want to go to that state.
To relocate.
Also layoffs as well. New layoffs. So I wouldn't be surprised if he just starts laying off a shit ton of people too at Twitter. But Twitter itself is going to have a problem.
You can't train new people in Texas if you don't have some of the higher ups to train them.
I mean, that's what he did when he started there, was fired all the people who were essential to making it work.
And not just that, but you're only going to be able to, based on this read, bring single men to Texas, because this right here is saying families with children or families that want to start planning for children don't want to go.
Yeah.
And it's probably because of the anti-abortion laws in the state. Well, you can hope and pray that you don't have a difficult pregnancy that requires your significant other to have,
or even single women. Single women wouldn't want to go there.
And not only that, but it looks like there's stuff going on at Twitter where Twitter is not going to be doing very well either way. If this is the Twitter, the little birdies, there's something going on there that it's not going to do well in Texas either. So I don't know if he's just going to want to keep this headquarters thing. I don't see people working remotely. So I don't know if he's just going to lay off a crap ton of people and leave like a skeleton crew and try to have a skeleton crew of like 12 guys manage the whole thing. Do you see what I'm saying? It's just, but I don't see Twitter is doing well at all.
I don't even think he's going to do it, but I mean, well, he might. But it's a problem. It's a very big problem. There is the negative news. There is the sort of a chaotic energy. There is a lot of people who cannot go. And then there's a lot of fighting and arguing and bickering and politics and all that type of stuff. The entire thing is a horrible decision, but that's the kind that he makes. So,
I mean, we're talking about the guy that spent billions of dollars to buy a tech company because he got into an internet fiasco, and he's got little Napoleon syndrome, so he had to look like he's the bigger person. I really am rich, and spent way more money than he should have, and the company's freaking tanking. Like, advertisers are leaving, the place is a total crapshoot. Like,
I have two petty questions, if I may. What was going on with Matt Gaetz' face?
The Botox man?
What is it makeup? Because makeup can contour your face to different things. Was it shock therapy? What was going on with the face?
Dude, you know what I think? I think Matt Gaetz, and I'm just talking smack here because I know what I look like. I have a mirror. I can see myself on the computer. I'm not a beauty queen. But Matt Gaetz is a perfect candidate for lip injections because he has none. It's just like, what the hell happened?
His forehead seems to get higher. Like, did he have a nip tuck or something and raise his forehead some more?
Did he take the skin and pull it back?
They Joan Rivers'd him, dude. They just like. So what was the question?
He had to look good for TV.
What's going on with his face?
Yeah. Is that just how he always looks and we just didn't notice?
He just like, I don't know why, and this is no insult to the Addams family, but he reminds me of Eddie Munster.
I don't remember what he looks like.
Injections that make him look surprised. he goes to like some celebrity doctors. What I'm getting. Okay.
He had Ronnie Jackson administer all the Botox is what happened. Ronnie Jackson over there high as a kite. I think this is Botox and it's really freaking bleach or some shit,
Liquid plastic.
He ran out of plastic, so he's over there melting like Legos and stuff.
Plastic face, he'll be Mr. Potato Head next.
Oh my God. So what happened to Matt Gaetz' face, huh?
His face.
He had a drunk doctor working on it. That's what, see? Look.
I think
that's totally influencing this reading. There's the fish, the dog. The person that did the cosmetic surgery they were just drunk they were day drinking on a boat or something, and he got Botox. That's what I'm going for.
The man upside down, so maybe he had his head up his own ass too. And when he pulled it out, that was the results. That's what he
Oh my God.
It's like, oh, I seen Donald up there. There's something around a community here. This is people you would pay, though, with the Knight of Pentacles. This is not a doctor, though. This is like a landscaper who has needles in his garage or something. This is like one of them people who go get the Brazilian butt lift, but they don't go to Brazil. They go to like Tokyo or something. It's you go at somewhere you shouldn't go to get something that you want.
They go to Tijuana is what happens. And they get botched surgeries.
And then you look like you got like pillows in your pants and things. So this is, I don't know. It didn't say cosmetic, but he went to someone here for something, but this person is not licensed to do such a thing. So it's like he went to his dentist.
Went to like Ronnie Jackson or something.
Because I don't get like makeup or beautifying things. So this was not legit.
So should we ask what's going on with Gargoyle's crotch?
No, no, ma'am.
She was itching and pulling and
she was digging for clams, y'all.
My question is, though,
clams and crabs.
Will we get an update on Donald Trump's condition?
His medical condition?
Yes, his recent medical condition.
From somebody besides Candyman
Doctor? From Ronnie Jackson, anybody but them.
He's a fake doctor, like everything around Trump. Fake.
He's a dealer. Pills and potions.
Like from the Butler PA hospital. Any doctors there want to give an update?
Will we get an update on his? Okay, what's all this? Okay.
Yes, but it'll be a lie. Presenting a lie to America. It'll be a lie.
Tell us something we don't know, Jenny.
Yeah. Somebody may find some evidence of something that comes out, though. So there's going to be a problem. Like there's some more evidence coming out. Everybody's going to look at that differently. So
will we get an update on Donald Trump's medical condition? The update that we get is not officiated. I will just say that.
Yes, we will get an update, but not about his ear. Van Gogh is not hurt. In that regard, your update is going to be on this is not the card of injury for me. This is the card of disease. So this is a condition of some sort. And it may be mental in nature. So you'll get an update or some sort of news on that. But as far as his ear,
you know what's going to happen? They're going to go look
not
at
that you need one. I just wanted to ask.
They're going to go look at his ear and then check his ear, and then they're going to be like, "Why is it so empty in there?" It's just going to be like.
I did see a meme where it says Donald Trump is okay because it went in one ear and
out the other. Nothing in between.
Oy vey. And here's the thing, too, because people, again, if you believe it was staged, then, okay, and people saying, well, somebody died. Do you think he gives 2 buckets of dog feet that somebody died at his rally?
Look at what happened to that one girl at the Capitol riot, shot in the head by Capitol Police. He didn't care.
He doesn't care about anybody.
He didn't care. The girl outside, the "Don't Tread on Me" flag lady that got freaking stampeded. Talk about irony. He didn't care.
Don't care.
The cops
doesn't call the families of anybody. He doesn't care.
As a matter of fact, he told families of service members that passed, what's the big deal? They knew what they were getting into. He does not. He even told them himself, I don't care about you. I just want your votes.
There you go, Aspie. 1 million people died in COVID. He said the numbers could have been worse. That was his contribution to that.
It was only 1 million of you guys. Who cares? Get over it.
Anyway, Patrick Orlando.
Who's that?
Is the man's name. I wrote a note to see the picture, so I have to go see picture. He's the guy who took over Truth Social. He's the part of the media conglomerate. Okay. In a suit filed in the District Court of DC, the SEC argues that Patrick Orlando, the head of Digital World Acquisition Corp., did not follow proper process and made false and misleading claims about the process to acquire and take Trump Media public. The scandal marks yet another time a member of Trump's origin allegedly engaged in fraudulent or illegal activities. Trump Media itself is also thought to be by many vastly valued.
Yeah.
So he is basically marching down the same road Trump did when he said everything was worth this and it's worth 10 cents.
My 10,000 square foot apartment is really 35,000 square feet.
Yeah.
Like, you can't take a tape measure and measure that stuff.
Because part of the problem is Patrick Orlando, the head of Digital World Acquisition Corporation, when he valued Trump Media so high, the stock went up. And so that's your false and you're misleading, and that's why the SEC, Securities and Exchange Commission, is now after him. So the Trump Media itself is also thought to be by many vastly overvalued. Its stock price has oscillated greatly since it went public, largely due to the unsound financials. Filings from 2023 show the company posted a loss of $58 million and only had an operating revenue of $4 million.
Oh.
So
this is $1 billion company.
What's next for, what's the child name? Patrick Orlando, who is the next on the Trump victim train, since he wanted to step into that line of lemmings. What's next for him? SEC investigation. It's already filed. The charges are out there. They posted it on, I think the Midas Touch people posted a copy of it somewhere.
Sacrificed. I keep hearing, what's that guy's name? Wing Guo or whatever, the Chinese billionaire that just got convicted for fraud that was connected to Steve Bannon.
Oh.
He's going to go the same road is what I'm hearing. Yeah. He's going to have indictments. Maybe around Christmas time. He keeps changing the story too, trying to protect himself. Yeah, you give him 3 or 4 months, he's in for a battle. So Tower and out in the cold, broke.
No, Devin Nunes is still there. He's the CEO of Truth Social. CEO.
He's just stuck to his wine vineyard. What's up, Michael?
let's just say I don't envy his position. I do not. You have been sacrificed and you are the fall guy, so I wouldn't want to be him is what I'm saying.
He's going to have trouble keeping lawyers. This is jumping way ahead. Right now, there's charges filed by the SEC. Again, those documents were somewhere on somebody's check. There is, because this is the word of warning. This is, to me, the most positive card in the tarot. It is hard to corrupt, but it is not impossible.
Let Donald Trump get a hold of it.
In the negative, this means that the things that you are doing now will heavily affect the rest of your future, at least for the foreseeable, maybe the whole 7 years, 7 months, 7 years. So there's a whole bunch coming his way that spells trouble. He's going to have a very hard time keeping a lawyer for some reason. And so maybe it's financial in nature because they stay for a very short time, but
maybe it's because all the lawyers end up in jail before you do.
Does Donald Trump have PTSD from his ordeal at the rally? Because that would traumatize anybody.
I just heard if he could sell it. He's not going to have anything unless he can sell it.
Mercy.
No, he doesn't. And I get the wife and kids don't either. It's like none
Ivanka
of them
put a statement out saying she's praying for the country.
Yeah,
Yeah.
none of them do. It's like these are all no cards. It's all just chaos, and let me create all this turmoil around it. And
you know what? Why don't Ivanka just shut up and sit down? Because her daddy is responsible for all this. Her daddy's the one that took gasoline and threw it on the fire to see how much more it would burn. Does he have PTSD? Nope. But his mental health is, I would say he's sundowning at sunrise. If you're picking up what I'm putting down. I don't get PTSD. I get mental stuff, but it's aging sort of thing.
Publicity. Higher ground. Importance. That's what he got.
Celebrity.
Didn't care about nothing else.
He went golfing the next day, Johnny. He was golfing the next day.
No, he does not have PTSD. Something there's a bit off, I would think. Okay, final question. No, not final question. George Conway, let's do your question, Jim.
George Conway started a new super PAC called the Anti-Psycho PAC to try to keep the psychopath out of office. And the ads I've seen for it are hysterical. I mean, it just paints Trump as just mentally completely deficient. So I want to know, because he's targeting running it in swing states, I want to know if it will be effective in hurting Trump. Because the commercials I saw, I thought looked very effective. George Conway, former husband of Kellyanne, but he's a Democrat. Anti-psychopath. Brilliant name. Will it be effective in the swing states at hurting Trump?
You know, I've said this before, and I'll say it again, just with a different name, I suppose. Donald Trump does not need more votes. The Democrat, whoever's going to be, needs less. That's how he wins. So he's all right as far as his position in that party is concerned. Because what you need to do is turn his own side against him, and that's almost impossible when you had this business going on. Like, tell me you're in a cult without telling me you're in a cult, like Becca said. So I think he's pretty secure. People who are not going to vote for him weren't going to vote for him anyway.
And here's the thing with these brainwashed maggots. You could literally, these MAGA people could literally be in the hospital with Donald Trump and a doctor saying there's nothing wrong with your ear, and they will not believe the doctor. They will look at Donald Trump and say he's lying. This is how brainwashed these people are. Like, they cannot face reality at all. At all. So even if they're faced with hard evidence, they'll look at it and not believe it. I mean, that's it. Those people are not going to leave. They need to be deprogrammed.
Yeah. I get it does block him from success, that it's shows his betrayals and gives people something to think about. And I get that, like the ones that he's already secured, the MAGA that are already, committed to him. No, it's not going to. It's the independents, any independents. They're thinking about it. I get it does, there's strength in these ads, and people reject Trump.
Braxy had something to say too.
So, hi, Braxy.
Didn't you have something to say?
My little pony.
She's right there. Oh, no one can see her. Go ahead. I asked, will George Conway's ads in swing states be successful? Yeah, I know. He's going to have loads of success. With George Conway's going to have loads of success getting that message out in the swing states. So very positive. Very, very positive.
Speaking of loads of success, last question. Rumor has it that during the Republican National Convention, the gay dating site app Grindr spiked in its usage. Now, that does not mean that everybody who came in to the RNC went to Grindr, but it was a very interesting coincidence.
What was interesting too is the bars did a lot of drag shows so that they would have nowhere to go afterwards to have a drink and party and stuff, and yet they were quite busy.
All those anti drag queen people go into
looking
drag shows to get drunk and pick up people of their same sex. Let's not get
Let's not forget J.D. Vance in his Hillbilly Elegy writes about that he told his grandmother when he was younger that he thought he might be gay.
Yes, but I mean, fine. Here's my thing. Usually we make the disclaimer, not condemning whatever it is you want to do. You go ahead and do it. It's your house, your business, your body, right?
That's right.
This time, I am passing judgment because this is the party of anti-LGBTQIA+. And a lot of y'all got a woman somewhere who is under the impression that you love her and only her. And yet you're out there dilly-dallying with somebody that ain't her. So that's where I do pass judgment, because you lying to somebody for the sake of what? For covering up who you really are. And then you go have your freak off on the weekend. Meanwhile, she's at home somewhere thinking that you're just going to the convention. Which, I mean, how many of those stories do you need? Won't be back. I'm going to the convention. You were at the convention between 7 and 9. What were you doing between 9 and 11? And why you got all these charges on your credit card for this, that, this?
Not answering your phone. And
What did you need at Walgreens at 11:30 at night?
Buying a box of condoms.
So, was there a relationship? Was there a correlation between the spike in Grindr's activity and the RNC? Was there crossover? Was there a cross between, or was it coincidence?
Was there a connection?
Yes. Because again, I'm judging this time.
Yeah. Because they want to outlaw gay marriage and everything. It's like, yeah.
Because you always got something to say when it's gay people or trans people. Then all of a sudden, mother truckers. And then you got a whole wife at home and probably kids and all that other stuff too that have no idea. And then that's how you go home and then you spread anything that you've ever caught from anybody to her. And then that's how. That's why I'm judging. Anyway, back to the thing. Family values, yes.
I would say yes. Take this with a grain of salt. People looking for a side piece. There's the boyfriend, girlfriend. There's more than one. There's the sex. This card is also the card of bisexuality and homosexuality, but side piece. Honey, I'm going to the convention. I'm going to go find a side piece. Oh, I'm sorry, what? But yes, I get a side piece. That's what I get.
Yeah. Husband and wife, happy family, some kind of erratic energy coming in quick, taking action on that. And blammo, the man is not with a woman. He is with someone else. So yes, there's a correlation.
Here's what I would, if I was a researcher, this is what I would do. I have the card of nostalgia. Go back just to, not way back, but just to Donald Trump and the RNC last time, wherever they were. And I would wonder what kind of activity was going on around the city then. Because this is nostalgia. This is the last card. This says this happened before. You don't even have to give me yes or no. This is saying it happened already before. So, but yes, there was someone searching there. Yes, this was
What was that little boy's name?
editing, right?
That little boy's name that got kicked out of Congress in the wheelchair, Madison Cawthorn. Didn't he say something about a bunch of sex parties with donors and
That's
stuff?
what they do.
Matthew Cawthorn, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This is yes, there is a relationship between the two. I'm judging this time.
Braxy has a lot to say about it too, don't you?
She did.
You have a lot of stuff to say, huh? You don't like them either. No, ma'am. I know. No.
So next week we'll be on Jen Lynn's channel, and can you believe July is over already? Pretty much.
You blink and the year's gone. I'm not complaining because we're getting ready to get into my favorite season. Not that we really have it here, but the fall. That's I live for the fall.
Love it. Again, thank you to Joanne. Thank you to Catherine. Thank you to Rose Blue for the super chat. And remember, again, take care of your mental health. That affects everything else, literally. And it's going to be fine. Remember, you have one task.
Vote blue.
Top and all down ticket. AOC has got plans for next year. If you don't think about nobody else, think about her. Help her out. So keep in mind.
We got to impeach some Supreme Court people.
Yes.
Vote blue.
Where we're in this together, we always have been. Joe Biden has done his best for us. That's all we needed him to do. We can take it on from here. So don't lose faith. Don't lose heart. Don't lose hope. It's not the end of the world. He did what he needed to do. He brought us back from the brink of destruction. So just look forward. Don't look back. Look forward.
Yeah, and Braxy says she's sending sloppy kisses to anybody that wants.
So everything's going to be all right.
I tell Mom to quit reading all those weird books.
Well, I got to tell you all about that in the after show. I talked about a mind screw up yesterday. That was
So we will see y'all next week. Same bat time, same different bat channel. So bye-bye.